Hello, everyone. I'm just trying to get my concoction burning here. Um, Hopefully you all had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. I know I enjoyed myself spending time with the family. Let's see how far behind this delay is. Okay. And my audio is working, so we don't have an issue there with that. Um, the other thing I wanted to say, I had to do a quick prayer. The other thing I wanted to add here is if I do lose you all, I am sorry. We're supposed to be having a storm come in. I did not realize that. But we are supposed to have a storm front that's coming through here. So if I lose you for a second, I'm sorry. It wasn't my intentions, but sometimes storms happen and you have to just kind of go with the flow. Um, but yeah, today I planned on doing a live reading session because it seems like that's been something a few people have wanted from me and I haven't done in a while. Hello, Pink. And I haven't done one. Ooh, has it been like a year maybe? I think the last big one I did probably was like Halloween, I think. Maybe it's been more than a year. No, that was a while ago. But I thought, why not catch up with you all and we could do a few live readings if you all are open to it. So, yes, the rules haven't changed. If you have a question, try to drop one question at a time to give other people an opportunity to ask their questions. I will try to get them in the order that they are received. Um, I do refrain from answering questions that deal with kind of like, I'll just say illicit affairs or matters, just because if it's something that's not appropriate for YouTube or I don't feel is appropriate or I feel uncomfortable answering it, I can skip over that and you all know that. Try to ask one question at a time so that everyone can have a chance and I can try to get through them as quickly as possible because I don't know how many people will actually come in tonight. So, yeah. Hello, Buttercup. Hello, Pink. I don't know if I said that. Okay, so I'm gonna switch this order around because I see Buttercup, you asked your question first, but out of fairness, Pink was here first, so I will answer Pink's question and then Buttercup. So I just wanted to give it a minute for anyone else, a few more people to come in. If you hear something bumping and stuff in the background, it's just me with my water. I have to make sure I'm hydrated doing this. But hopefully it's not too loud. And if you have what they call it, mysophobia, you don't like mouth noises, I apologize because I'm the same way. But I have to drink. I have to stay hydrated. Otherwise, it's just wrong. Yes. Get some of this smoke in here, this cleansing smoke here. Yes. Get some of this cleansing going here. So, okay, Pink, your question is, so I want to make sure I'm asking a clear question here. You want to know how Omar feels not having contact with you right now, or going no contact? I just kind of want to make sure I'm being clear in asking this question to get the right answer. Hello, Priya. And Priya, you will be after Buttercup. Okay. Here so far. Nope, I'm not counting those. I need one more card. And I'm gonna count those two because they kind of came out there at the end together. Let's see. Something makes me feel like, okay, and again, I don't know exactly you all's relationship, how it fell apart, anything like that. But I wonder if there was something with family. You don't have to answer or clarify if it's something personal, but I wonder if there was an issue or something with family because the tree is coming up here in reverse. Or maybe there was a disagreement about, again, I don't know how old you are, so I'm just giving a few explanations from the cards that I have. Maybe there was something here where a conversation about maybe starting a family or something kind of went wrong, or maybe it is something that's coming up in the future. But right now it kind of feels like there's still something tethering you two to each other, because when I see the star and the anchor card, that makes me feel like something is kind of being held up, something is still kind of not being dealt with. There's still kind of like leftover feelings. There's still something to kind of like maneuver through. And but then with the with it ending here with the shift. Okay. Yeah, because here with the ship makes me feel like I don't know exactly what's going to be the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for this. It just kind of feels like eventually you two will move forward. It may be a bad breakup because usually when I see spades, it's like swords energy to me. That usually feels like it could be off of something just like a bad breakup, or probably not ending in like a very positive and closed way, like some absolute closure. Yeah, see, I wouldn't have got cheating with the tree card because to me, usually the tree, it just gives me like family kind of energy. But yeah, I wonder if it's something that's coming up here. But that's kind of what I'm getting, Priya. And then just to kind of close this out, because I like to read the underlying energies here, I do see that we have dog that usually speaks to loyalty. Birds. So birds is usually like messages. I usually think of like the internet, some kind of connection, telephone, something like that. And then usually with the tower card is usually things of like society structure, something that's kind of like changing on the outside. It's probably not going to keep you all as well knit together, or that it may be a change of circumstances with society that may be the other contributing factor here. So yeah, right now it seems like there's still some holdout, but I think eventually this relationship will move on. So hopefully that answers something or clears some things up for you, Pink. And, hopefully everything will work out for the best. I know it's always easier said than done after getting through a breakup, especially when it's somebody you want to really be with. But sometimes you have to hold positive that there's something better out there. And you're welcome. All right, Buttercup, you're up next. So you want to know the current feelings RS has for you. So let's look into that. One that flew off here to the side. Okay, you have two that fell on the floor. 1 second. Oh, two that fell. Okay. So we have a lot of dark cards coming up here. So automatically with the whip coming up here, I have to say it. I don't know. It feels like there was a lot of attraction, tension, maybe in this relationship. I would say usually when I see the whip, it sometimes deals with things of a passionate matter, especially when you have the clubs cards here, because if you're somebody who isn't into tarot, that is dealing with the fire signs, that's dealing with the clubs. So to me, this kind of brings about that there's a lot of tension or attraction in this relationship. But what makes me nervous is the clouds coming up here, because there's something that isn't quite being seen or known at this time. There's something that's being obscured in this moment. Maybe it is the attraction, or you kind of like building up this relationship to be more than just attraction, or maybe he is, since it's about his feelings. But then we have the bear, and the bear to me is like protective energy. It's kind of like mother bear, mama bear energy. So I'm not sure why that would be coming up. Something that's not being seen, some tension, protection. Is this person kind of like do they tend to have like a jealousy streak about them sometimes, or like a possessiveness? Maybe that's what that's kind of like alluding to. Not expressing or talking yet. Okay. Because what I'm also seeing here for the underlying energy, it is a woman here that's showing up in reverse. So maybe not the best person to be showing up in here, especially with it coming up reverse. We do have the lilies, and that's dealing with something sort of like an apology, forgiveness being needed. But then we also have the mice. So something that usually when I see the mice card, there's usually something that is, you have an inkling about something, but maybe you're trying to ignore it, or maybe he's trying to ignore it. Because again, we're supposed to be really reading in on his feelings. So that's interesting. We have the mice card with the women. Possessive, yeah. Yeah, something gives me like tends to have a jealousy streak for sure. And maybe there's a energy here of like maybe they covet relationships, or they covet their relationship with you, RS. I'm not sure, because again, I'm operating off of limited information here. But yeah, I would say looking at these cards, I would say tread lightly. And really try to get to know kind of where their head is, because yeah, the whip with the bear doesn't read like the best, and then the cloud kind of reads to me like you are maybe somebody who's very secretive. So kind of not the best concoction, but yes, I would say proceed with caution. If that would be my advice for this. Because maybe RS isn't being as forthcoming as he needs to be. Again, Buttercup, I hope that helps a little bit, gave you a little bit of insight. Um, Again, proceed with caution is what the feeling I get. Um, you're welcome. And then Priya, Sybil, or Sybil, maybe. Let's see here. So Priya, if you're still here, your question is up next. Gonna dive into your question. All right. I am going to try. I'm really going to try here, Priya, because I will be completely transparent with you. I am not the best when it comes to timelines, but I will try to hone in for the next 10 days. But oftentimes, I like to say my people just give me what they think I need to know or I need to relay. But I will try to limit this question for the 10 days. So just to be upfront. Hmm. Oh, and you had two cars jump out at the same time too, Priya. Okay. Okay. Again, a lot of black cars, dark cars coming up here, especially with all of the space coming up in reverse. It's not looking the best. Um, Again, the ship usually to me means a voyage or a pretense where maybe there was something, a planned escape, vacation, or something like that that was supposed to be coming up here. Maybe those plans are going to fall through. Maybe there was some kind of separation or something, some kind of travel, something like that that was coming up, but it's not going to follow through or is going to be delayed in some kind of sense. The garden to me, again, coming up in reverse. So usually this is like my party card. It's my go outs. It's my network card. It's meeting new people. It's, you know, getting yourself out there. But again, it's coming up in reverse. So either you, them, both of you are kind of like having some kind of stall or some kind of reversal in a plan. I don't know if maybe you were planning to travel somewhere for like a party or a wedding or something like that. Okay, separation, because yeah, this is looking like a lot of like hermit energy. I'm gonna hold up somewhere. I don't really kind of want to be bothered. The one that's kind of throwing me is a child card, because usually that is something that's dealing with kids, or it could also sometimes it gives me like the six of this kind of card or six of cups card, where it's kind of like you are revisiting something from the past, or maybe taking time to kind of like please your inner child kind of energy or something like that, getting to know yourself. Again, it's kind of coming up in reverse, so it kind of feels like there's some hesitancy in moving on or forward. And then again, we have the whip card that's coming out here, and I know I shuffled this deck, so it's crazy I'm getting some of the same cards. But this time it's kind of coming up in this time it is coming up in the upright, and usually to me there's something of like, what's the best way to explain it? Doing something you need to do. Like it could be something like work. It's kind of like sticking to some sort of routine. It is sticking to some kind of like obligation. You know, it's sticking to some kind of sort of pattern here. So I'm not sure why that would be coming up for you. Maybe this is making sense for you. So that's why I'm kind of just explaining the cards. Because for what I'm getting, it kind of looks like there's some kind of holdup that isn't being nice right now. It's kind of like, it feels like somebody who's probably trying to get back into the routine of being themselves or getting to know themselves. is kind of like the energy I'm getting here. Um, the underlying cards, because I also like to read these, as I said before, we have the book. So this is kind of like learning. I don't know if somebody or you, him, are in school right now or thinking about going to school. Maybe there's going to be some kind of information that's going to be revealed, some kind of lesson that's going to be learned here when I see the book. We also do have the mountain. So either school is going to be hard, you're going to be focused on that, that's why the separation and stuff is coming up right now, or something is going to be some kind of knowledge or information or work piece or something like that that you're going to be struggling to kind of like get over here. And then lastly, let's see what this last one, letter. So usually letter to me is kind of like almost like legal work. It could be, again, I don't know, maybe if you're in school for law or they're in school for law or something. I'm not sure why that would be coming up, but we also could have this pertain to, it could be a new job or work relation thing. Maybe it's some kind of, I want to say confession, but I don't want to say it's confession because it's like coming up in reverse. I usually think of confession as being a good thing unless it's something you don't want to know. But we do have the letter here, and it's usually, to me, that's kind of like, I think of like contractual stuff, something that's just, again, going to work through. But we have to know it's coming up in reverse. So it may be not a good contract or something on the table. Yes, Hulk, this is live. Hello, how are you? So yeah, and again, we have a storm going on right now. So if I do lose you all, I apologize. I did not know it was going to storm. It's just kind of like came through. So I will try to be back on as quick as possible, but hopefully it doesn't happen. So again, Priya, I'm not sure, maybe this is more clear to you, but this is kind of like what I'm getting. I don't know if maybe you both are just trying, what they call it, like taking a break from each other right now and trying to discover if this is something what you really want. It's kind of giving like, we were dating all through high school, now we're going to college and not sure. If he will contact you, I don't know. I'm not getting something about contact here because to me it seems like it's very much separation. Let's see if I can get one or two cards here. If he will contact you. So you do have this card sticking out to the side, so I'm going to pull that. Maybe there is some kind of making up or an apology coming up here because we do have the bouquet. And to me, that usually speaks of like secret admirer, makeup, forgiveness, and then, oh, crossroads. Why would that land up there like that? You had an explosion of cards that fell, but the crossroads is what came up. So I don't know if there's going to be something where maybe it's still going to be a while before Sybil contacts you, and then it's going to be like, okay, well, are you willing to get back together or not after this? Because we do have the crossroads coming up here. Or maybe it's going to not, like, because with this being a diamond card, maybe it's not going to be the best timing. Maybe it's going to come up at the wrong time or something. So, yeah. So hopefully that helps. Let me see. What is this? The cards that fail here. To have the fox, house, often, the sun, the man, and owls. Yeah, the owls make you think there's going to be a delay there. Some kind of delay in communication. Oh no, you think you have a stalker? That's no good. You're welcome, Priya. Hog, it sounds like you have a lot of admirers going on over there. Well, let's see if I can get an answer for you. Again, I can't always guarantee that I'll get exactly what you want, because sometimes the way my guides work, they're telling you what you need to know. But I will try to hone in and see if we can get a bead on who this is. You know what? Actually, I think I should use tarot cards, since we're trying to narrow it down to who these people are exactly. Maybe we can get some astrology going here. We're trying to get zodiac signs here. I get those better with tarot cards. We can narrow it down easier. Let's see here. And we have the High Priestess here. The Star. And then I'm going to have to put something on here to keep YouTube from demonetizing me. But yes. So we have the High Priestess, and we have the Star card, and then we have the Nine of Swords. So this is definitely something that is troubling you. Oh, okay, sorry, I had a card that flew off. I'm trying to remember the High Priestess. Do it tell me in the book? I don't remember what astrology that one was. I forgot. I know it'll tell me in this one that, hold on. Hello, Prayera? Hopefully I said that right. So let's see here. The High Priestess usually deals with the moon. So it doesn't really give you a sign. So that makes sense. But if we were to also boil it down, the moon is usually like I know that's usually related to Cancer. And I know the Star card typically, I want to say that's Aquarius it deals with. I don't know why I was thinking Sagittarius. Probably because that's what you wrote in there. But usually the Star card is dealing with Aquarius, so that's neither one of the signs you were talking about. It's funny you are saying this is some people who may be like a coven or some kind of connection here, because we have the High Priestess card. Also, to me, that's usually like trust your instincts, your intuition. Maybe there's a thing here where you probably need to reach out to your spiritual team and kind of like how to move forward and what to do, and for protective measures as well, because we do have the Star card coming up here in reverse. I should have not moved that. And to me, that usually kind of brings about hopelessness, which would be understandable with why the Nine of Swords is coming up here. There could be things that keeping you up at night, giving you nightmares. Also, funny enough, we have the Star card here. I wonder, do you have anything, have you been having like, I don't want to say nightmares, but maybe you've been kind of getting warnings in your dreams? Have they been kind of like, have you felt like somebody has been like astral projecting on you kind of thing? Because this does feel spiritual, especially with like the High Priestess being here. Again, the Star card is like that hope card. And then you have the Nine of Swords here. This makes me feel like there's probably a lot of like dream work or something with like it's a astral projection or something like along those lines. So yeah, I think maybe you need to reach out to your own spiritual team and start doing something to protect yourself, maybe. Because look, we have the 10 of disc here. These are the cards that's underlying here. So we have the 10 of disc, and usually 10 of disc Again, I'm not sure why this will come up for you, but maybe it makes sense to you. This is usually dealing with like wealth, fortune, family lineage, things like that. We do have the death card here. It is coming up in reverse. So I don't know if you have some kind of holdout against maybe connecting with your people. I would hope not, because it seems like you're somebody who's very much aware of this. So, okay. And you know, another thing too, Hulk, I forget what website this was I was on. They also tell you like when between the times that you wake up, could be meaning something. I forget. Oh my God, what was the name of this website? Like I know, for example, for me, it was something where I kept waking up between like 3 and 4 o'clock, and they were saying there's some, or 3 and 5 o'clock, and they were saying there's sometimes you dealing with unresolved grief, which made sense at the time because I was still kind of like dealing with my grandmother and uncle leaving. So that makes sense. So I don't know if that is something that may also be interesting to you that you could probably look up. That's something that popped up in my head. Maybe it'll help you. And then what do you behold here? We do have the Queen of Wands here. Didn't you say it was something about a Sagittarius? Queen of Wands is a fire sign all day. So maybe you need to do something where you are protecting your energy, Hulk. You need to do something to protect your energy. Or do something before you go to bed at night to protect yourself in your sleep. Because I feel like because they're getting you, or it seems like they're trying to like attack you while you're asleep, is because you're at your most vulnerable and your weakest. So maybe you need to do something to start protecting yourself and warding yourself with, as you sleep. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, no, it's no good if you have somebody attacking you like that, especially if it's like out of the blue, undeserved, and it's just doing stuff to kind of like mess with your life. But it seems like this, yeah, you're probably gonna have to kind of do what you need to protect yourself. Again, sleep is usually when we're at our most vulnerable. People aren't really protected then. Sometimes people do it, protect themselves through prayers. So I know some people sometimes use things like crystals. They do spiritual baths. I mean, it depends on what works for you. Sometimes people put certain herbs and stuff in their pillows or underneath their bed to protect themselves, or I don't know. I mean, it really depends on your practice and what you believe in. Most people say 3 a.m., like 3, 4 a.m. That's witching hour. That's like good time. um, Prayera. I am doing fine. And yes, we can look into Rishu's feelings for you. We'll see if they'll do anything. And see if they'll get work up the courage. Yeah, because again, Hawk, I don't know what your religion or your beliefs and stuff is, so I don't want to. I'm giving you generalized information because I also don't want to give you something that's not going to work for you or you don't believe in, because that's part of the way I feel like a lot of this works. If you don't believe in it, it's not going to work. And I would say even put something in your car. Maybe you need to walk around with like, again, I don't know if this is your thing. Maybe you need a mojo bag. Cleanse that energy off you. Protect yourself throughout the day. So again, we're going to go into Prayera. Okay, automatically when I see the fish card, it's like fortune, it's kind of like wealth, money, income. Is this somebody you work with? Or did you meet at work or in some kind of business way? Because that's usually what I think of when I see the fish. It's like windfall. You do have bouquet coming up in reverse. It doesn't look like this is going the right way. Let me pull out this last card. It's coming up here. Yep, and we have our last card here. That is crazy. I'm like shuffling these cards and I'm kind of getting some of the same ones for you all. And I know I'm shuffling these decks. Let's see here. We have, okay, again, fish card usually speaks of like some kind of windfall, some kind of financial income, not at work. What else could the fish be pertaining to? Because usually that's dealing with like, I want to say like materialistic stuff. Like, it don't always have to be money. It could be, again, some other kind of like material wealth or something that's coming through. The bouquet is coming up in reverse. So to me, that makes me feel like, I don't know, there's going to be some disconnect, or if it isn't already, it's something that probably need to be made up for. Because I also kind of think of sometimes like secret admirer, apology kind of energy. It could be, yeah, see, I would say secret admirer. I don't want to say the other word because that's has a negative connotation to most people. But yeah, that's what I think of when I see the bouquet. So it's coming up in reverse, but to me, that makes me think of like there isn't some kind of like connection or desire to reconnect there. And then we have the whip. And again, the whip card to me is usually something that's dealing with like repetition, some kind of routine that's going on here. I sure can. We can look and see, because if you're feeling like this isn't resonating, see that? I shuffled these cards. So let's see if I'm going to get some of the same thing. I'm like shuffling so we don't get the same card. Nope, that was a whole book. We don't want that. Something in that pile was supposed to come out because it kept falling. Nine of Cups, a wish not being fulfilled here. What is this that just flipped over? Leaving. We have the Eight of Cups here. And lastly, what is this one? Okay, is this the Earth sign person? Oh, well, I understand that too, prayer. If you want to understand the cards that you're getting yourself, I'll move these out the way then. I'll move these out the way. Because yeah, you have the Nine of Cups in reverse. So that's usually like a wish not being fulfilled, something that you may desire or want to happen, not happening. You also do have the Eight of Cups. That's usually I am leaving something behind to move on to something else. And you also have the Knight of Pentacles, the slowest moving knight in tarot, and it's coming up in reverse. So I don't know, maybe this is an earth sign person maybe that you're dealing with, but yeah, that's usually like your Capricorns, your Virgos, Taurus, but it's coming up in reverse here, and it's looking at the Eight of Cups, like I'm ready to move on. But maybe they're being hesitant in some kind of sense. And I will also do this for you as well. The underlying energies I'm getting is the Strength card. So to me, this kind of feels like you, I keep wanting to say you, but whoever this energy is pertaining to, it could be Risha. I don't know, kind of like standing up. You have the Eight of Coins here. That's usually like, I'm putting the work in. I'm working on something. I'm concentrating. I'm kind of in my own little bubble, kind of give me passion project energy. And you also have the King of Swords here as well. And that is coming up in the upright. So at least it's not coming up in reverse. If the King of Swords was coming up in reverse, I'd be really nervous right now. But it's coming up in the upright. So typically this is somebody to me who is great at communicating. They know kind of like what to do about things. Maybe there's somebody, again, who's really good on social media. The King of Swords is typically air sign energy. So think your Geminis, your Libras, and Aquarius here. So I don't know. Maybe, hopefully this is helping you out. It's not being all the clear to me. I would say this top row is saying like there is something that is not going to work out. There's going to be somebody leaving this situation though. I would say looking at the top row of the cards that actually fell out and not the underlying cards. Was there a follow-up question for that one? Oh, he is air? Okay. Are you a earth sign? Or does he tend to have, or maybe you would know if maybe he has like a earth sign and maybe his top 3 somewhere? There's something about that gives me earthy energy. Like he could be a Virgo or Capricorn. I usually don't think of Taurus as being like very word driven. I just see them as being bullheaded. Once they have their eyes set on something, that's what they want. But they will do any and everything to make it possible. Your earth, okay. Let's see. We have the Chariots. We have the 9 of Swords in reverse. Let's see. And lastly, that's funny, the 9 of Cups come up in the upright here. Why would the 9 of Swords pop up here? Because again, that gives me kind of like things that keep you up at night, nightmares. It could be things that I kind of think of like when you think about all the like cringy things you did in the past, it's kind of like that here, but it's coming up in reverse. And we went over the 9 of Cups here. That's like a wish being fulfilled, some kind of happiness, some kind of ordeal that's working out the way you want. And the Chariot coming up in the upright for me feels like there is going to be some progression or something that's happening here. It's just somebody is taking their time to really plan their way forward. What's the underlying cards here? We have the Moon, the Hanged Man, and then we have the 9 of Swords. That doesn't bode well. So against my better judgment, I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know if they will be reaching out to you within the next week. Because to me, this makes me feel like they will eventually, but it probably just won't be at the time that you want. Stressed? Okay. Yeah, it's to me, I would, against my better judgment, I usually don't like to give a definitive because that's not exactly what I'm getting here. But if I have to go off what I'm getting from these cards, it kind of feels like, yeah, he'll eventually reach out or talk to you or whatever the case may be, connect with you. But right now, it just seems like there are a lot of other things going on that's kind of like deterring him or taking up or consuming a lot of his thought and his time at this moment that they're trying to like work through. So it may not be exactly when you want it, but it'll eventually happen. It's kind of like what I get. I mean, you say you were stressed in the past. I would think that would be over and done with now, but you know, you never know. People process things at a different time, especially depending on what it is. It'll be certain things that just happens. So I would say be patient and try not to be too mean. Sure, random person that just jumped in the chat, you can ask a question. Shuffle these one more time before I do another reading, so you all can see that I am not trying to kind of like keep pulling the same cards. Yes, you're next, and then I will come back to you, Prayer. I want to make sure everyone had their time. Okay, cool. That's good then, because I know how sometimes how that can feel. You want somebody to talk to you when you want them to talk to you, because like you're ready, but they're like not ready. So you don't want to kind of like force it. So that's good on your part. Okay, let's see here. What does your twin flame think about you right now? Okay. So I'm going to do a random person. And then I know this sounds so funny if you're just like listening to this. And then I'm going to go back to you, Prayer. So again, one more shuffle for the books. So we know this is all mixed up here, all right? So I just want to note what fell out. I'm not going to actually read these. I'm going to put these back. We got the Strength card, the Two of Coins, and the Knight of Cups here. Knight of Cups reads pretty promising. It's romantic energy. Let's see here. Okay, what is this? Knight of Swords came out this time, but look, the Knight of Cups is underlined here. Okay, what was that? And then you have two more cards here. The Knight of Swords in reverse here. You have the Six of Coins. You also have the Nine of Wands. I wonder if your twin flame is somebody that you already have kind of come across in some sense. Because usually when I see the Six of Coins, it's things from the past, maybe some kind of past connection. I usually think of something from like the past or somebody you had a past dealing with. Also, the Six of Coins is kind of like reciprocity energy. It's a give and take. We do have the Knight of Swords here in reverse. So to me, this is somebody who you probably didn't connect with in the best way because, again, it's coming up in reverse. So usually when I think of like the Swords cards and they're coming up in the negative like that, it's usually somebody who is very, I think it's somebody who's very, like, very brutally honest when they speak, maybe very brash. Maybe somebody who kind of moves a little too fast. You think they're a little too slick. You kind of give them the side eye here. We also do have the Nine of Wands here. So that's kind of like, I'm tired. I don't want to do it. Take me out the group chat. And then it's funny enough, you have the Seven of Coins here. Are you not dating right now? This kind of feels like you're burnt out on dating. Or maybe it's your twin flame is kind of burnt out on dating right now and not wanting to kind of like date. Because they're just kind of having a string of bad luck or something. Yes, Kanu, you can be added. I will read your question after Prayer. What is this underlying cards here? Ooh, funny enough, we have Ace of Wands. I think your twin flame right now is a playboy or a playgirl. There's somebody out there kind of like playing the field and they're wondering why they're getting burnt. And it kind of feels like the dating has slowed up. Because the Ace of Wands here, usually to me, is like phallic energy, somebody who's kind of really out there playing the field. You also have the King of Cups here, somebody who is very romantic, but maybe they don't utilize to the best of their to their best interest or to the best interest of their partner. And then we also have the Queen of Cups. So unless you're a water sign, maybe you're thinking about someone in your hair right now. Okay, because right now this feels like somebody who's kind of been through the battlefield of love. And even if it was just one bad breakup, so, you know, sometimes we blow it up to be like, oh, my life is ruined, I would never love the same kind of thing. It just kind of feels like that. Because we also have, I don't know if this person is coming out of a breakup or if you're coming out of a breakup. It's something they're kind of like not getting over right now. Maybe they just have a negative outlook, or you have a negative outlook on dating and stuff right now, because we also have the Three of Swords in reverse, and that's like not getting over a heartbreak. So to me, it feels like it's something here where this person or you need to be like, your belief in love needs to be like recharged or something. Because this is giving a lot of I'm worn out, I'm tired and over it energy. These three cards right here, like, I don't know. I'm not picking up on any initials. Again, if I don't know if this helps, you do have the Knight of Swords here. That could be dealing with an air sign. Oh, you are a water sign. Okay. We do have a Knight of Swords here that could be dealing with the air sign. I don't know if this person that you have in mind is an air sign, but that could be a Gemini, your Aquarius, or your Libra. And it is coming up in reverse. I would be inclined, looking at this, it's probably a Libra. if what the cards are giving me right now is true, I would be inclined to believe it's a Libra. But I could be way off base. Let me know if I'm hot or cold there. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense if he's a Libra and kind of like, because Libras do love with their whole little heart, and they will love deeply until they get screwed over. And then sometimes they can become very vindictive. Well, I don't know how we'll be able to get if it's the confirmation on the person outside of what I just gave you, the signs. Um, yeah. I mean, it kind of sounded like it was, but if it's not the Libra that you're thinking of, it's another one, then yeah. And if so, if you still kind of want to see if we can get a confirmation, I can ask after. Oh, well, Kanu didn't put their question in. So I can ask after I go back to prayer. So prayer, we are back to you. Okay. That was a jump there. We do have the Moon card coming up again for you. I feel like that was the underlying energy you had last time. King of Pentacles in reverse. This is still giving me holdout energy. Why? What is the hold up here? We have the moon, but it's in the upright. So I feel like, again, something's being revealed. It won't be in the dark forever. But then we're having the King of Pentacles coming up here in reverse. And to me, that's usually like, I know you said you're the earth sign, but something about this feels like somebody is very, I don't know, very focused on like the material wealth or something. Yeah, this one in the next 2 weeks, what's coming up here? That's what I'm getting. I'm getting the moon, the King of Pentacles in reverse, and the Temperance. Something just kind of still feels like it's a holdout. Like it's not really clear. It's not coming clear to me. It's also with the Temperance card, to me, that also feels like things are out of balance. Like maybe not feeling like okay, I'll explain it to you this way. It kind of feels like something is not. Yeah. So yeah, prayer. I am doing yours. Will he take action towards you in the next 2 weeks? And again, to me, this feels like it's still holdout energy. Like they, it kind of feels like they are looking for the right time to take action. And when is it ever really going to be a right time for something like that to happen? You just kind of have to do it. I don't know kind of what they have built up in their head, but that's kind of like what it feels like to me. Is the best explanation I can give you. Is what the energy kind of feels like. Does that make sense? Because even here with like the underlying energy, we're getting Two of Pentacles. I don't know what the focus is on. Again, it may not have to be work, but it just feels like, look, I'm getting like all these pentacles. And then we also have the Hierophant. I don't know if he is stressed about money or something, or if there's some kind of financial like baggage that they're dealing with or something, but I keep getting stuff about money coming up here, and it feels like that's kind of like what's derailing them in I guess you can kind of say taking them off course, making them hesitant. Career, yes. If again, because I don't know how old you all are or how old you are. I don't know if maybe they're just coming out of college and trying to solidify their career or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's just something about like material, some kind of finance, some wealth thing that's kind of coming up here. And it just feels like that's kind of like holding stuff up. But I want to make sure not saying that this is exactly what it is, but it kind of feels like I want to make sure that I have the right house and that I have enough income to kind of like treat this person on a date, and that I have a car that I can take them back and forth to this date, or I want to make sure I have all of this stuff kind of set up before I can actually go out and ask you. And then I kind of feel like that's kind of shooting yourself in the foot because you're waiting for this perfect time for you to have all this stuff. Who knows how long it's going to be before you get there and whether you're going to have it all or if it's even worth it. Not saying that you're not worth it, but like you're doing all of this and it should just be like, just ask them out. Just ask them out and get it over with. Just do the date. Stop trying to wait for the perfect time. Because what you think is going to be the perfect time may not be the perfect time for somebody else. So what are we doing here? You're just wasting time at this point. Okay, and so as you all can see, again, I am shuffling Again, prayer. I mean, not prayer. A random person. I don't know how clear we will get on this, but I'm willing to try. I mean, I get it because I had the same thought before when I was like in college and high school, like, oh, I want to make sure that I have my degree, and by the time I'm 25, I'm gonna have my house with my Benz and being out here in the world traveling, and then I'll have my man. And it's like, that's not how that works. Be for real. You're gonna have some setbacks in there, girlie. Plan for the setbacks as well. Okay, let's see. Let's see if Spirit will send me a confirmation on whether this person is thinking. Okay, let's note this. I don't think these are actually supposed to fall out, but we have the Three of Swords, the Four of Discs, we have the Wheel of Fortune, excuse me, and then we also have the Six of Coins here again. That's coming up for you. Yes, Kanu or Kanu Priya, if you have a question, post it in the chat and then I will get to it. I don't have like a something you have to kind of like submit a form or anything to. Yeah, it's just the questions as they come up in the chat. And I try to get to them as the questions are asked in the order that they were submitted. Oh, funny enough, we have the Temperance card, but this was teetering. Did not want to go back in there. Ooh, out in the cold, Five of Coins here. And then we have the Nine of Wands again, coming up in reverse. Funny enough, look what's coming up underneath the deck. I don't know why the Six of Coins keeps coming up for you, a random person. Maybe that's the key here. Has it been some kind of like exchange of favors or something? Maybe that is the sign, the confirmation that's kind of coming up. Excuse me, sorry. Because I keep getting the Six of Coins for you. Then we get the Four of Wands. Okay, these are something different that we got for your underlying energy. But the Queen of Cups is coming up again as well. So again, Temperance card, with it coming up in reverse, this can speak to stuff being out of balance. Sometimes it is, I don't know if this pertains to your person, but sometimes the Temperance card to me is kind of like the fall off the wagon card. Somebody who may... think of someone who may have like an addictive personality and they don't know how to kind of like get that in order, because that is coming up in reverse. Just want to add that because I'm not sure what will be the confirmation for you, random person. So just trying to give you that information. Again, you do have the Five of Coins here. To me, that's usually like the out in the cold card. There's somebody who, yeah, you kind of falling off a little bit, but now you're trying to find your way back. But then you have the Nine of Wands here again. So it's kind of like, it's a tough fight. So I don't know if anything I said or any of these cards that I just pulled out for you, if this is giving you an inkling on if that was the person you had in mind or not. Thank you, Deb. Welcome in. So I don't know if random person comes back. Yeah, that's what I got for you. I don't know if any of those helps. Oh, did I lose connection with you? Because I have pulled some cards for you. And I didn't know if any of those, the things that the cards came out, if that was confirmation or not. You just have to go back about a minute or two and let me know. If you're looking for like a exact thing, that I'm not getting an exact bead on it. I wasn't kind of like getting any kind of intuitive hints on whether it was the person you're thinking about or not. Sure, Dev, ask your question. I will answer yours after Kanupriya. I might be butchering your name, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Or I'm going to shorten it to Kanu, if that's okay. All right, so Kanu, you want to know what's coming up for you. What's the current feelings here? I'm going to pull this one because it's sticking out to the side. We have the star. I'm going to have to cover that up. You know what? I feel like it's better. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, up, and you do have these that flips over in my hand here, so I'm going to pull those. Anything else? Nothing else here. So, you're meant to get 4 cards. So we have the star card here, and again, to me, that's kind of like a beacon of hope. It could be something leading to like a direction, trying to find your way through something here. When I see the star, that's kind of like what I think of. We do have the 2 of coins coming up in reverse. So there may be, usually this makes me feel like a tough financial decision. Again, not sure why this will be coming up. I'm just kind of reading what the cards are pulling up here. We do have the worlds also coming up or in reverse. To me, that feels like something is incomplete. Something has not finished off. Maybe that is something dealing with maybe used to connection or relationship. And I do see a King of Swords here. I don't know if you or Risha is an air sign, but usually the King of Swords is dealing with air signs. It's your Aquarius, your Gemini, and I was about to say Virgo, and that's not it, Libra. Also, what is showing up in the upright is a good sign to me. You're not talking right now. Okay. Because right now with the King of Swords, with it showing up in the upright for me, it usually pertains to someone who is very good with communication. They know how to use their words. They're also somebody who is probably very cunning, or I should say smart. I don't want to say cunning because that kind of gives it a negative connotation. But somebody who's very smart, maybe they're kind of really bookwormy, nerdy. Again, I don't know if that's you or them, but that's the energy I'm getting up here. Again, with the star card, it feels like there's a hope for there maybe to be something, but maybe they're kind of like in their head about it, because when I see the King of Swords and then the 2 of Discs, like balancing something of what should I do, what should I not do, is there something more to this than there isn't? That makes me feel like they're kind of like weighing their options here, and that's probably why, yeah, you're not talking, something is incomplete here, something hasn't kind of like come through the way that they want. Maybe they haven't got like I'm gonna say right sign to be like, hey, I can proceed and ask Candle out. And he is an air sign. Okay. Yeah. I'm also going to give you some additional notes here because we do have, I like to read the underlying energies. We do have that Two of Swords. So here again, we have something about a tough decision, some kind of blockade, maybe again, some kind of answer that has, or a question that has not been answered yet kind of thing here. Because this is tough decisions. This is some kind of tough decision. I'm not sure what that is. But we do have the Lovers here. That kind of bodes well. And you also have the King of Wands in the uprights. I have to know it's in the upright and not in reverse, because if this King of Wands came up in reverse, I would say run. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200, because usually when I get the King of Wands and it's coming up in reverse, that is somebody who's like a notorious cheater. They are laying it low and spreading it wide. So, but to come up in the upright, to me, that's somebody who knows that they're a beautiful person. They have maybe I want to say like golden retriever, Leo energy. They very much kind of have like a lovable personality in some kind of sense. But to me, this kind of feels like there's hope there. There's some kind of connection, but it kind of feels like they're waiting for the go ahead. They're looking for the go ahead. They're looking for the green light to really ask you out, is what it feels like to me. Kind of. The short of the long story, it kind of feels like he is waiting on the green light from you. Because obviously he's overthinking. Overthinking. Does that answer your question? Hopefully it does. Because I gotta flip some of these cards over. Because I'm running out of objects to throw in these cards. Maybe I should pull out some that don't have as much nudity. But I just really like this deck because it's pretty simple and easy. I'm going to pull out another tarot deck. So Kano, I can answer that after I answer Dev's question, because I want to make sure I get to everybody's here. And not have a backup. Well, actually, I'll have to get to your question after. I'm kind of scared on this name here, Incel Industrial Complex, but okay. You know, we can ask that. We can ask that follow-up question. People are in their minds a lot. I mean, yeah. And in today's society, I kind of don't blame them, but yeah. I know. I like that deck too, especially when I'm doing general readings, but because of how much I have to kind of like cover up stuff because it's very traditional RWS, Rider-Waite Smith, I don't want to keep trying to find objects on my desk to kind of like cover the cards. So I know sometimes YouTube will flag stuff for that. So okay, Incel. I'm really nervous about your name, but I'm gonna get to you. So Dev, if you're still here, I'm going to go in and answer your question. Let's see what I get here for your cards. So first card we have here. Ooh, another card hidden behind there. And the Nine of Staffs. Okay, and I just want to point this out to you, Dev. We do have the Lovers as your underlying card. So to me, this is like really pointing to this is what's holding you up from like finding love here. I want to say, isn't 14 the star? I want to make sure, because this one they named it something different. Nope, temperance. Okay, I figured that's probably what it was. So it's temperance. 6. So you have temperance in reverse. Something out of balance, out of whack, something that isn't kind of like equally yoked. 6 of coins. It's funny you get 6 of coins with the temperance card, because usually the 6 of coins here brings about reciprocity. I'm gonna tell you something right now that I'm intuitively getting, and you let me know if I'm wrong. I don't know if you, I kind of feel like you're the person who give a lot in a relationship to your own detriment, if that makes sense. Like you're probably the big giver in the relationship, and you don't do a lot of like receiving or people kind of like pouring back into you, and that's probably why you have this 9 of staffs here, of just kind of feeling overburdened and tired. And so you kind of like, you take on other people's, it could be energy, responsibilities, their emotions, I don't know, all of those things. You're the big giver in the relationship, and so you're kind of out of whack, and you don't really know your boundaries or confirmation. Okay, cool, glad. Okay, so I wasn't something I was just pulling out my butt, but it kind of feels like, yeah, you don't kind of have your best interest at heart. You don't really know yourself, or kind of like your boundaries and stuff in a relationship, or what you can ask for in a relationship. And I feel like that's probably also why you're getting the Lovers card, because I would be remiss to not also mention that the Lovers doesn't always mean something romantic. Usually when I see the Lovers card, that usually feels like when you are in alignment with yourself, are you kind of like walking your path. And to me, it's kind of like, once, and notice we do have the wings here. Just want to kind of point that coincidence out. It kind of feels like once you kind of get back into yourself, once you replenish yourself, you can kind of find your way back. And I feel like, okay, I'm going to pull out these other 2 cards. The 4 of coins, and what's this last one? Ooh, I think you need to go on like a fast. 4 of coins and the Hermit card here. The Dervish is the Hermit card. The 4 of coins to me feels like you need to be stingy with, I don't know if it's your money, your time, your energy. 4 of coins, you need to be stingy right now. And then with the Hermit card, take the time to look at yourself. What is it that you kind of really need right now? Reevaluate your boundaries, reevaluate what you really want in a relationship. And then you can kind of like find your blessing on the other end of that. That's what that's giving me. And maybe kind of take some time. I don't know if you're a big journal person, but maybe take some time to kind of, I don't want to say, I don't want to make this like a you thing, but I would say if you are in the space, in the energy to kind of like look back and reflect on yourself, find out why you feel like you have to be such of a people pleaser, or why you feel like you have to give yourself much. Why do you feel like you have to give so much in a relationship before you get anything back? And start thinking back on that and like work your way forward. If that would be my advice for you, Dev. So hopefully that helps. I hope that helped. And yeah, definitely take some time for you. It's 2 people in this relationship. So if it's feeling out of whack, it's out of whack. And so going back to incel, we're going up next to incel. Your question is, how can you protect your looks from curses? I kind of want to delve more into this, but I don't want to be too nosy. I might go down a rabbit hole I don't need to be in. I don't know why you feel like you would have to protect your looks from people. Do you feel like, and you don't have to answer this, I'm just really open asking this, if you feel like people just really have to, are jealous of you or something. Oh, Deb, no tips at this point. I say the way you can tip me right now, just like, share, subscribe, whatever the case may be. And that helps. Your comments help because it lets the algorithm know. right now I don't have like a tip jar or anything. That is something that will be coming later. So thank you though. Okay, protect their looks. So we do have the Hierophant card coming up here. Right? Let me make sure, because I get the numbers. I don't know about numbers. I know about looking at the, to be honest. Yep, the Hierophant. I knew. Okay. Trust my instincts. You have some haters? Oof. Okay. Ten of Swords. Excuse me. We do have the Fool coming up in reverse, but it didn't hit the table, so I want to make sure this was actually supposed to come out for you. I don't want to kind of give you the, I don't want to mislead your answers here. I didn't want the whole deck. Jeez. And you get 2 more cards here. Whew. Was it another one? It felt like another card was under there. Okay, so as I was stating before, it's funny enough that you get the Hierophant card here, because the Hierophant can go a few ways. So the Hierophant could be dealing with like the environment that you're in. Maybe it's like the culture that you're brought up in, something like that. Usually kind of speaks of like your environment, but it can also deal with like men in robes. So and so I don't know if you go to church or anything like that. Maybe it's somebody you could be speaking to or seeking counsel with. Because usually when I think of men in robes, I think of either kind of, it could be the legal system, or it could be your like your priesthood or whoever your religious kind of like leader is. So just pointing out a few things here about that, because that's what the Hierophant come up as. It could also probably be dealing with spiritual practices. Maybe there's like, I keep wanting to say prayer, but maybe there is spells, because, you know, if you're, me personally, I believe in prayers is another form of incantation or spells, but that's just me personally. We do have the 10 of Swords here as well, and this is usually like, yeah, it could be things ending in a bad way. It could have things of like, I don't know if you're doing any spell work now. I would say if you are, you might want to be careful with that, with this 10 of Swords coming up here. Especially if I would say if you are doing spell work, I would say to err on the side of caution. Make sure it's spell work on yourself. Like, you know, make sure that I'm walking out here in a space where I am loved, appreciated. People who love and appreciate my looks and my energy, may they also be welcomed in my space, and may everything else just kind of like bounce back. Don't kind of like cast spells where it's like, you know, oh, this person is hating on me, and you're kind of like putting out that negative energy on them. I would say if you are somebody who's doing that, make sure it's just on yourself, because that's the one-way ticket to make sure something like backfires on you. Because we do have the 10 of Swords here, so usually there's something like this ending in destruction. Horrible is ending a bad way. And with this Hierophant card, again, I don't know if you're somebody who's doing spell work. Be careful with that. Then you also do have the 4 of Swords. That's, give it a rest, take a break. Again, this could also be dealing with your environment that you're in, because again, when I see the Hierophant, they usually sometimes deal with like, maybe it's the people you are surrounding yourself with, and you probably need to step away from them. It's making you, I don't want to say paranoid, but it could be putting you on edge and putting you in a headspace that you don't need to be in, because you have your Swords here that's dealing with mental, that's air, that's mental all day. And then lastly, you do have the Tower card here, and it is coming up in the upright. So I feel like that's the only good thing I can say so far from these cards that I'm getting for you in spell, and like how to protect your looks. Maybe you need to switch your environment. Is something you dealing with where maybe you need to seek out some help. I don't know if it's like spiritual guidance or whatever the case may be. If you are doing spell work, make sure that you are doing it for yourself and not doing it on or casting it on yourself and not on others, because again, with these two coming up in the upright, I say is your only saving grace, because it's kind of like, oh, this was the natural progression of things to happen. If it's something dealing with the environment that you're in, maybe you need to move away from the people that you're with, because maybe that's what's driving this fear or whatever the case may be. If you feel like you're needing to protect yourself, because you have the Tower and the Ten of Swords here, and that's kind of like, this fallout was meant to happen if you're still surrounding yourself in that space and in that energy. Now, when we go into underlying cards, just to get a bit more clarity here. Ooh, see, because we have that Malika of Staffs. This makes me think it's you. Again, I don't know if you're a fire sign, but typically the Staffs card is dealing with fire cards. Your Leo, your Aries, your Sagittarius. But if you aren't any of those signs, okay, good. Because the other thing here, we do have the Malika of Staffs is coming up in reverse. If this is you, which I'm inclined to believe, whether you're a fire sign or not, because you are somebody who feel like you have to protect your looks, people are jealous of you. I'm inclined to believe that the Malika of Staffs is you, and that's usually somebody who is like abusing their power or their looks, even if that's not what you're doing. It could be that hold on, I gotta take a sip of water. Delicious. Okay. It could be that you're kind of, because you're feeling you have to be on the offensive, you're kind of probably taking, oh, you have placements in all of them. How do you get things done? You're a firehead. I know you're a firecracker. And I say this as somebody who's an Aries sun. So you're probably going about this the wrong way and kind of like lashing out or feeling overprotective or feeling like you always have to be on the offensive. You do have the Five of Cups and the Seven of Swords here. So to me, this feels like there's some sneaky behavior that maybe you don't even like doing yourself, with the Five of Cups coming up in reverse, because the Five of Cups to me is kind of like crying over spilled milk. Like, why should I even have to do all of this? I'm not even feeling fulfilled in this space, so why do I have to do all of that kind of energy is kind of what it's giving. And again, the Seven of Swords coming up in reverse is speaking to like sneaky behavior, things that has to be done in the dark. Your sun sign is a Virgo. Who? Oh yeah, you have criminality behavior. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's a joke. But no, seriously, because you are a Virgo sun, you have, especially with that Aries underneath you, that Virgo tendency to have, you peep stuff and you kind of can probably go in the really negative way with it. And then you have that Aries just kind of like boiling. Like, you have the tendency to like really lash out. So you probably want to make sure that you are minding your space and your energy and your mental when it comes to that, because you do not, that sounds like your haters. Okay. Yeah. You want to make sure you keep yourself level, so you're not, because you probably come off with a very explosive attitude, or people take it as explosive and they can really get you into some trouble. Yes, KZ, if that's how you pronounce it, that's how I'm going to say it. KZ, yes, I am doing free readings for people. All you have to do is drop your question in the chat and I will get to it in the order that they are received. So hopefully that helps. I don't know if there's anything else here that I can kind of point out to you, but yeah, it kind of feels like, yeah, you blow up. Yeah, I can see you kind of being, and not to say like you, it's not without due cause, but I can see it very much being a thing of like, you don't blow up right then and there, but like once you feel like you've had enough or it's been enough, you lay people down. You everybody can get the smoke. Nobody is exempt. You're welcome. Glad I could help. So going back, we are doing, thought I was supposed to be going back to someone, no? Question is going, so I thought it was kind of, but maybe I misread that. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing a question here. So who's next? Okay, I did incels. I did dev. Oh yeah, here you go, Canu. Okay, it got lost in the shuffle here. So we're gonna look at Risha's actions in the next 2 weeks and see what we get here. Thank you, kind of, because I thought I lost it. I thought it was further up in the chat, but yes, I got it. Oh, that was a whole book. I just noticed we have this one sticking out to the side, so we do have the Ten of Staffs there coming up in reverse. Hold on, I gotta dive under my desk for this other card. The Four of Staffs. Interesting. What is this last card? The Hanged Man. The Ten of Staffs coming up in reverse is like a burden I can no longer carry. I'm going to have to let something down here. The Four of Staffs is usually something dealing with home. I usually think of this as also like the marriage coupling card as well. But usually the Four of Staffs is stuff dealing with home. And then we have the Hanged Man. And that's usually looking at something in a different perspective, like a perspective shift is needed. So, what? Remind me, Kanu. Oh God. Okay, your questions, your previous questions and responses are gone. Okay, so okay, because I was gonna say, why does this feel like this person is just like really having like an inner battle of some sorts? And I would assume it's something dealing with home because we have the Four of Staffs here. But the underlying cards I'm getting here, okay, this might be getting a bit more positive. Okay, this is getting a bit more positive looking at the underlying cards. This is why I do that. Okay, because we do have the Devil card here. So this is kind of like giving into old behaviors, old habits die hard kind of thing here with the Devil is kind of like what I'm getting. But we do have the Son of Cups. He's eventually going to get over that hurdle of being stuck in the past or whatever this is. It's like holding him up because we have the Son of Cups. That gives me positive energy. That's usually somebody who's also kind of ready to take the next step in romance. They're kind of like opening themselves up for love. Okay, so you can ask 2 questions. Just usually I try to make room in case someone else asks something and then I can answer there. So I want to make sure I get to everybody. So yes, you can ask 2 questions. I may just delay one of your questions for later in case someone else comes in. And then we also do have the Three of Staffs. So again, there's somebody who is ready to move on because it's coming up in the upright. So this is somebody who is ready to proceed forward. They're moving on. They kind of have a destination in mind and ready to proceed. So what I'm getting for the energy for the next 2 weeks is hopefully this is leaning more so the positive of whatever it is that's been holding him up, Risha, holding them up, and like being afraid to proceed forward, whether it's like some little hang up, whatever the hang up is on their part, they're eventually going to get over that and move forward. It's not to say the whole slate will be clean and clear after that. They may still have, they may still regress a little bit. We're only human. Give them some space. Give them some space. But I think eventually they'll be able to work through it. Because with the Son of Cups and the Three of Staffs here, you also have the Hanged Man. Like it's finally something I'm gonna get over. So yeah. Does that answer you, kind of? Does this help? You're so welcome, KZ. And you're welcome too, Incel. I'm glad that helps. So I'm going to answer, if we're okay, if that answered everything for you, kind of. Okay, they did. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move forward with KZ here with your question. Is there someone watching and why? What is with all the stalker energy that we have going on? What's going on? Let's see. Okay. Ooh, we got the Devil and the Three of Coins and the Ace of Coins. Okay, I'm gonna follow my gut on this. Okay, Zay, I would say you don't have a someone, you have people. Is what I would say, because you have the Three of Coins here. To me, usually when I see Three of Coins, that speaks to like some kind of collaboration, a partnership of some sorts. Usually when I see the Three of Coins, and it is coming up in the upright. You do also have the Devil card here coming up in reverse, and to me that usually speaks of like, I would just say nefarious or like not so positive energy. It's kind of like some negative energy here. So I would say the best way I can explain it right now from what I'm getting is kind of giving Mean Girls energy. You have a Regina George, a Gretchen, and what's the other girl name? They're kind of like having you on a three-way phone call kind of thing. It kind of feels like, just to be annoying. And then you also do have the Ace of Coins. So this is one thing that's hanging me up. With the Three of Coins, it feels like a collaboration, a partnership, agreement, a deal of some sorts. But then you have the Ace of Coins in reverse. So that usually speaks to me of not having a fresh start. Is this somebody at work? Is this like a work thing? Or is this something in a, it won't exactly have to be a work thing, but the other thing that came to mind is this something like, I kind of want to feel like a network bid. Like, how can I explain this? Like say all of you are vying for, like you're all influencers or something in some kind of space. And so they're like, oh, well, we can partner up to take this person down. This person being you, KZ, if that makes sense. It feels like it's something along those lines. But let me know if I'm wrong. Probably school. Okay. Because then we have this, I don't, why, is it an earth sign in one of these groups? Is one of the people you think that's watching you is an earth sign? Because you do have the Shy of Coins. This is somebody, again, very materialistic, very money focused or material focused. They're like, no, look at my new Birkin bag, yours is fake kind of thing. And they could be, I would just say wealth focused. Like they're very focused on who's the haves and who's the haves nots, and they're very much used to reinforcing that of like, you're a have not, so stay over there at that lunch table. We're the haves. We're gonna go and leave campus if we want to. Like they very much try to reinforce that. We do also have the Tower. So again, the only thing that's giving me hopeful about this with the Tower being in the upright, because if this was a reverse, I would be very nervous for you. But the Tower coming up in the upright just kind of feels like there's some kind of fallout, a bad stroke of something misfortunate happening that kind of just is inevitable. It's going to happen, or it has to happen in order for some things to kind of be course corrected. And then you do have the Two of Staffs. I don't know if you're thinking about leaving schools or if this other person is going to leave because maybe they're going to be caught bullying or something. Or something is going to come out about them. I don't know. Two of Staffs is kind of like, I'm deciding where to go. What's my next move after this? Let me know if I'm totally off base. I'm just kind of like trying to relay the energies that I'm getting because that's what I'm getting from these cards. I also want to know, the Son of Cups is coming up here. So I hope some of this has nothing to do with like some kind of romantic interest. I don't want to say just dealing with a guy, but I hope this isn't something dealing with like a romantic interest. It's kind of like being the catalyst in this situation. I hope that's not what it is because that feels very low vibrational to me, but yeah. Hello, Cat Goddess. So let me know if they helped you at all, KZ. In the meantime, KZ, I do see you have your other question in the chat. I will answer that one next. But I'm going to go back to Infel and we're going to do their question and then I'll come back because I think you're the next person. Yeah. And then Cat Goddess, if you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat. If you don't, if you're just here to join us and relax, awesome. I thank you for that as well. You're welcome, KZ. All right. So I said this earlier at the top of the hour. I forgot who I was talking to. I'm not the best with timelines, but I will try. I'm not the best with kind of giving timelines on things and stuff. So I just want to preface this question, this answer with that. So it may be off, but I will try. Oh, okay. Oh, that's a few parts up over in the deck in my hand, so I want to see what's meant to stick, so it'll hit the table. Interesting. Okay, so we have the Alchemist, aka the Magician. We have the Two of Coins coming up in reverse, the Son of Cups, and then the Ace of Cups. Okay, so maybe what I can answer for you, Ansel, is how you'll meet this person. Maybe not the timing. Because we do, again, we have the Alchemist, aka the Magician here, and to me this kind of like, no, that's a bad way to put it. Usually like the Magician card to me is kind of make the best out of what you have. Because again, alchemy, working with things, that kind of things. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Nobody wants to start dating somebody over and over again or like dating new people because people just don't know what they have. point. Let's see here. Because this is what I was asking for timing, but let's see if we can point into hone in on how you will know you met your person, what your person would be like. And let's see what we can kind of compare and contrast here from the two fools. We're going to count the Hierophants. Let's shuffle this one more time to make sure. Okay, that was a lot. Afraid that was going to come out. I don't like this. Okay. I'm not going to let my bias get in the way of this. Okay. So again, and so the top one was when I was pulling for timing. And again, I didn't want to say what I was saying earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and go through the reading. This kind of makes it feels like you're going to have to, I don't want to say make the best out of the situation that you have, because if somebody is definitely not up to par where you think they need to be, not ghost them, but you know, it's a separation here. We don't need to do it. There's also a thing here of the Two of Coins, and it's funny you mentioned what you did in the chat, because this is coming up in reverse. And so sometimes to me, this makes it feel like there's an unequal balance in the relationship of kind of, especially with this Ace of Cups being here too. It kind of feels like you not always getting the short end of the stick, but it don't feel like it's equally yoked. And what I mean equally yoked, I don't mean that somebody, because I hate when people say, oh, you need to come to the table, need to be 50-50. That's not how real relationships works. Sometimes you're going to meet somebody, and at the time you meet them, they're going to be 20% and you're going to be 100%. Or you're going to be up 80%, or it could be the opposite, where maybe you're the one that's down 15% and they're up 75%. Like, it's just, a relationship isn't always 50-50. And so I don't know if this is also a thing of, maybe to you, I would say the advice would be maybe to be more, I don't want to say, I understand being guarded, but maybe being more open to some of the things you would probably normally check somebody off for, because that could also kind of be like blocking your blessing, because you're like, oh, well, I know I was dating somebody else that used to do this same thing and they were horrible, and so you automatically like kick this person off the roster, and it's like, no, there was potential there. So try to walk that fine line is the best way I can kind of say. We do have the Son of Cups here, so somebody who's probably going to be very heavy on the romantic side, but maybe they don't have a lot of other things going for them, but maybe romantically they are the person for you. And then we also have like the Ace of Cups. So I wonder if there's also a thing here, because again, with this Ace of Swords, to me it kind of feels like, I don't know, maybe this person is going to come in at a time, like oftentimes I hear a lot of people love stories go, where you're kind of like, I am over dating. I'm burnt out. I don't want to deal with you people. I'm ready to close this whole chapter out. And then maybe this person will come walking into your life. We do also have the Hierophant here. So to me, with the Hierophant and the Alchemist here, I don't know if somebody is going to be more so, well, the Hierophant, the Alchemist, and the Shy of Staffs, I should say. This could be somebody who is very like an innovative person. They could be a fire sign. They could be someone who I kind of want to say has an entrepreneurial spirit, or maybe there's somebody you kind of shy away from because they seem like they wield a lot of power, because that's what I think of when I see like the Magician, the Alchemist, the Hierophant, the Shy of Staffs. To me, that gives me very masculine energy, and that kind of feels like that may be somebody you're going to shy away from because of, again, past experience with other like masculine, and I don't know what your preference is, so I'm just I'm trying to explain as best as I can without offending anyone. But maybe it's kind of like you're going to really shy away from this person because they come through very strong, very capable. Maybe you're going to feel like, well, what do I need to be with this person for? Because it seems like they have everything going for themselves. And I'm just kind of coming in as like the weak link. Not saying this how you'll see yourself, but that could be a case here. There could also be a thing here as well, because with the Ace of Swords and the Hierophant, to me, I don't know, maybe this person works in like law enforcement, and maybe it's somebody who's like a judge, a lawyer, an attorney, prosecutor, a policeman, I don't know, something like that. It's kind of like the other energy here. And with the Ace of Swords, it makes me feel like, again, the Ace of Swords and this Ace of Cups coming up in reverse, it makes me feel like it's, how can I, don't overlook it, because at first you don't feel like these strong sparks. Maybe it's going to be like a slow burn kind of relationship as well, because with the Ace of Cups coming up in reverse and you have the Ace of Swords in the upright, like maybe you two understand each other on an intellectual level, but then you're gonna like overlook this person because you feel like, oh, they don't really think about me and I don't really think about them in a romantic sense. But that's probably like your person. Like, you're gonna have to put away those, how can I say it, like those very romanticized, like you think you're gonna have a very meet cute moment and it's just gonna be like, no, this was just a normal thing and it grew into something more kind of thing. That's kind of what it feels like to me, this energy. You're trying to build on your life. And I mean, that's all good and fair, but you can build on your life and still keep space, make room for other things to like enter your life. And understand that we're all on the journey here, and sometimes you're gonna meet somebody, you feel like you're 2 steps ahead in the journey and they're back here, and then there'll be a moment, something can happen, not wishing anything bad on somebody. It could be a realization that something happened, the wind get knocked out of your sail, and now you're the one that's kind of lagging behind and they're up. So that's what I think. And I would say don't be intimidated, because I feel like this person is going to come in with some very strong energy. I do feel like this person is going to come in with some crazy strong energy, and that could be and may be intimidating to you, but don't knock it. Oh God, no. I just gave you that advice. Now I take it back. I take it back. I don't know about the lawyers. I haven't met too many lawyers, dated too many of those. But the cops, I completely understand. So pop me kettle, because I understand the cops. That's one profession I refuse to date anybody in. I'm not messing with a cop. I'm not messing with anybody who's like in that kind of, on that side of the legal system. No, absolutely not. You mess with the blue, you part of that blue wall, blue line? Nah, I'm good. I avoid it at all costs. Nope. I've seen too many people get burned. No, thank you. Thank you, KZ. And so going back to you, and Cat Goddess, I will get to you after KZ if you're still here. KZ, dang, I just lost your question in all this scramble. Okay, Amari, right? I think I found it. And for anyone who works in that profession, who's a cop or whatever, I'm not saying like they're horrible people, they're bad, they're distrustful. I'm not saying all of that. There is some good ones. I just haven't seemed to run across them. I haven't met them. And personally, I have my own bias when it comes to cops, like dating them, because it's okay, basically my outlook on dating cops has been ruined by TLC, like How to Get Away with Murder and Snapped, because I used to watch it a lot. And it's just like, okay, if I'm ever in a situation where this person, this cop that I'm dating is horrible and I'm trying to find help and I can't because people don't believe me or they're too busy standing up for their cop brethren, I don't want to be in this situation because now I feel like I have to go to some kind of extreme to get out of it. And I just don't want to risk that. So that's my story behind why I'm like, no, I'm not dating a cop. It's not happening. All right, so let's get into KZ's question, and then I have you, Kat. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for being so patient. Oh, okay. Did you see all of that? I know that was the card that was on the table first. Ooh, okay. Hold on. I know the Son of Swords was first, and then we had the Hermit. Let's see what else is coming up here. He gets you what all the time? Hey, that's a nice pup. I just need one more card, Spirit. And it flings itself on the floor. Okay, hold on. And so initially looking at this, I'm going to say no. Yeah, you have the Two of Cups in reverse and the Son of Staffs. I'm going to say no, there isn't a crush there. Maybe you're just like a good customer, or maybe or maybe they like your energy, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, the Son of Swords coming in reverse, not moving fast on this, not rushing in, kind of taking their time. Hermit energy, again, it's kind of like keeping to yourself. Maybe that's how they show appreciation and love, because from what I'm getting from these cards, it's the no. The Nine of Staffs in reverse. Like, I'm not even really getting any romantic card. The one romantic card that came up here was the Two of Cups, and it came up in reverse. So to me, this is reading like, no, I don't really have that kind of feelings. Maybe it's more so of customer appreciation. Just, oh, your time is delayed. It's okay, KZ. It could be also me too, because YouTube has our lives delayed as well. Yeah, from what I'm getting from these cards, I would say it's a no. Yes, absolutely. Discernment. I tell people all the time. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah. No, I'm gonna say no. I'm not rushing into anything. I'm pretty much by myself. I'm giving up something. I'm taking a break or not taking a break on something, just kind of like rushing through things. The Four of Swords here, I'm resting. Maybe there's some mental things that they have going on. Again, the Two of Cups is coming up in reverse. It's the only romantic one that's coming up here. And we also have the Son of Staffs. And the Son of Staffs is also up there kind of for me. And when I do my readings, the Son of Staffs is kind of up there with like the Son of Cups or the Prince of Cups for me. That can be very romantic energy. And it's coming up in reverse. So to me, it's no. There's nothing going on here. Maybe they just really like you as a customer, KZ. At least according to these cards. And again, I also want to point this out before I throw these cards back away. The Hermits is a Virgo. I don't know if that's their sign here. And then you also do have the Sun of Swords. That's your air signs, your Geminis, your Aquarius, and Libras. And then again, the Sun of Staffs is fire signs, your Aries, your Leos, and Sagittarius. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not getting that in these cards. I'm not getting that. It very much seems like this person is kind of like sticking to themselves. And but that could always change. Again, relationships have a way of building and working themselves out, working their ways out. But right now, it just kind of seems like no. All right, Kat. What do you have going on here? Let's scroll back a little bit. I missed it. Okay, so yes, what can you expect for this month or the month ahead? All right. Again, I want to make sure I do a good shuffle because I don't want somebody saying, you didn't shuffle the cards and I'm getting the same ones as the last person. So that's why I keep shuffling it a couple of times here before I just get into the reading. I want to make sure it's nice and mixed up. All right, let's get into this. I mean, yes, at least that's a good thing. Now you don't have to be weird when they like give you stuff or like overthinking. Like, should they give this to me because he's wanting to like sneak in my room? He wants some ramen. He want a cup of coffee. What is this? Oh my God, water, everything. All right, Kat, we're going to get into your question. Okay, I had a book that fell, but it is this one card that fell off to the side for you. Oh, two. Sorry. So I actually need to switch this around. Two cards that fell out for you, Kat. Let's see. Is there anything? Oh, you keep getting two cards. Okay, so I'm going to read it. That's what fell out for you, Kat. So first things first, Kat, I don't know what's going on with you, but there seems like there's something you're walking away from, you're leaving behind. I don't know if it's a location, a place, a person, or a thing. I'm not sure. But there's something here you're leaving behind with the Eight of Cups. Then you have the Malika of Staffs. I don't know if you are a fire sign or maybe you are heading towards this fire sign here. This is, again, your Aries, your Sagittariuses, your Leos. It's usually the fire signs here. Even though this is dealing with the Queen of Staffs, it could very much be a masculine energy. I don't want people to kind of get hung up on the gender of the cards. So there is something here with the Malika of Staffs that's coming up for you in like the next month or two. Then we also have the Four of Coins. So to me, this kind of, what I'm getting, it kind of reads like recession energy, or maybe you just need to count your coins. You need to be a bit of a penny pincher with the Four of Coins coming up here. Or again, maybe you need to be more, I think I said this to Diva. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Dev. Sorry, I said this to Dev earlier. Sometimes the coins doesn't always have to deal with materialistic things. Sometimes it can be like your time that you probably need to manage better or be more objective with, of like, I really need to do this and break this up. Lastly, you do have the High Priestess here, or the Mershida here as a two. So usually this, to me, this usually speaks of like some kind of spiritual enlightenment or practice that maybe needs to be upheld or done. That also could speak to intuition. Funny enough, you were talking about discernment as well. So maybe this is kind of like a intuitive hit or a call to you from your angel team here with the high priestess coming up here, because you do have the high priestess coming up. Now, when we look into the underlying energies, I have the shot of swords. That's the king of swords here. So that's your Aquariuses, your Geminis, and Libra. Again, if we're talking about energies, don't get hung up on what the gender or the sex is of the card, because even though it's dealing with masculine, even though it's supposed to be like the king of swords, it could very much be someone who is female presenting but have masculine traits. Okay, because sometimes I show up as like, I could show up as the shot of swords. So yeah. And then we also have the 10 of swords, interesting, and then the ace of staffs. So Kat, yeah, what are you getting out of? There's something troubling you. I feel like you're kind of getting away from. Like there was some bomb that went off behind you, and you're kind of trying to move forward from that. Like, yeah, all of that's going on. Yep, it's all that fallout, but I'm gonna move forward. Because you also have the ace of staffs here in reverse. Are you feeling blocked creatively or passionate wise or something as well? You don't have to answer that, but I feel like there's also something that's coming up here. Is this something dealing with work? I could be getting that mixed up, but I don't know. There's also something here with like, it feels like I would say the best way I can explain is like a career change is needed or wanted. So yeah. Yes, KZ, go ahead. Ask your next question. I'm trying to see if Kat is still here with us. If anything is coming up for them, or maybe it's just the delay is happening. And I'm also gonna put this in the chat. Okay. I am going to be closed. I'm going to pin this too, so people, as they come in, they can see this. I will be closing this out at 10 p.m. I did not realize it was this late. So if you do have any last minute questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, because yes. You're used to having to have your guards up about things. Okay. Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, like I would get that if the Shah of Swords was like in the upright, but to me it's coming up in reverse. But there could also be somebody who's like very, you're using your talents of like persuasiveness or good communication and stuff for like maybe your own personal gains or to protect yourself. You can't be somebody who's mean with the tongue. I would say that like you can lash out or like really peel skin off of people just by what you're saying. But I don't know. It just kind of feels like this, it kind of just feels like you're leaving from something, some kind of fallout, and you're trying to kind of like move forward from there. Are you kind of currently walking away from a situation right now, maybe where you have your guard up when maybe it's a situation you need to kind of sit down and work it out instead of just walking away from it? It's just instead of just like throwing it in the trash. Because you also don't want to make the mistake of walking away from something that could have potentially been good for you just because you're like, I don't want to do the work or I don't like those people. And it's like, great, you don't have to like those people, but this opportunity is for you if you can get through it. I mean, you let me know if anything here resonated, Kat. In the meantime, Kayvette, I'm going to answer your next question here. Again, if anyone is still watching in the wings here, if you have a question that you would like to ask, make sure to drop them now. Okay, you do? Okay. Make sure to ask them now or forever hold your peace, at least for the rest of the night or until you find another reader to do it for you. Hello, Chris. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you in. Yes, I am getting ready to close this out. I did not know I was on this long, but if you do have a question, I am still accepting some at this time. I won't do like a hard finish until like 9:55. Currently, Chris, I do not take donations. Your like, your subscribe, your shares is appreciated at this time. I'm working on something now to have donations set up, but I haven't done it just yet. But I do thank you for wanting to donate. So here's another thing I'm getting to, Kat. And I say this heart to heart because I can do this too. Don't get stuck or hung up where you're steady like rewinding and replaying things. I feel like this is an intuitive hit. So if it doesn't apply, let it fly. I'm sorry. But I would say the other thing that I'm getting is like, if you are the type of person you get very hung up on certain things where you're steady sitting there reflecting on what the ifs, ands, and buts could have been, don't do that to yourself. That's torture. Just try to do better moving forward. Try to be like, okay, yeah, I did that this time. Let's try something different. Or yeah, I could still do that, but maybe I need to say it in a better way. Or I need to take this precaution first before moving forward. Don't get so stuck in your own way to where you're kind of like blocking yourself. Again, you're like overthinking it, overanalyzing everything, and you didn't just overthought and over thunk yourself into analyzing everything into just like freezing where you're just like not doing what you need to do. So yes, hopefully you were still here to catch that part, but I would say that's another thing because sometimes I catch myself doing that and it's like, girl, let it go, move on. Everybody else has. You got to stop. Nobody's thinking about you like that. Like move on. Don't drink yourself. Okay, again, KZ, on to your next question. Excuse me, I did a hiccup. Thank you, Chris. That is greatly appreciated. Okay, so funny enough, you got your Son of Cups again. Let me shuffle this Because this Son of Cups, I know we do romantic questions a lot, but this Son of Cups just keep popping out. And I want to make sure we getting the real thing here. Let's see. If you get 4 cards, so be it. Let's make sure this is what's supposed to be popping. Okay. This card almost turned off my computer. That would have been horrible. We're going to get one more card for you, KZ. Okay. What's these underlying cards? Let's hurry up and pull these out. What's this? What's this? Okay, so first things first, we did have the Prince of Cups card that fell out the first time. And to me, again, that's a romantic figure. Again, that is somebody who is typically a water sign. This could be somebody who is your Pisces, your Cancer, or Scorpios. Be mindful of the Scorpios. And then you also have the Son of Coins. That could be an earth sign. I'm just reading these because I don't know this person's sign, and maybe this will help you figure some things out. We have the Son of Coins coming up in reverse. This is somebody who is kind of hesitant moving forward, is what I get. Very big, grand romantic gestures. This is kind of giving me more so Cancer energy, because they can also be penny pinchers, Mr. Krabs, anyone. But we also have the Son of Coins, and that's your earth signs. It's your Taurus, your Virgos, your Capricorns. Now, here's what's throwing me for a loop. We have the Nine of Swords, and this is somebody who is, yes, they're very in their head, but usually the Nine of Swords is things that's keeping you up at night. It's like your nightmares. It's like waking up from sleep. You're not getting fitful sleep. It is things that are hunting you. It's kind of like those cringe moments that seem to replay in your mind right before you fall asleep, and now you're up all night thinking about it. Like, that's kind of what I get with the Nine of Swords. And then we go into the Hierophant. And Hierophant can point to a few different things. Yes, sometimes the Hierophant can be alluding to marriage. It could be alluding to unions and things like that, because that's a guy in robes, your priest, your clergy, whatever the case may be. But again, sometimes the Hierophant also deal with kind of like those societal structures and boundaries that we operate in. Does he want to go to prom with you? Is he afraid of making a fool of himself? Because that's kind of like what this energy is giving me. I think if there's a high chance he feels like he's going to make a fool of himself during this promposal or whatever, no, more than likely not, because they don't want their pride bruised. Hello, Strength card coming up in reverse. They aren't, I don't want to say it about this person, but I'm going to say it because it's here. They aren't the best if it feels like their ego is going to kind of be bruised in this situation. I mean, even with the Nine of Swords being here, you have the Strength card. This gives me somebody who, again, this is giving Cancer energy. I don't know if this person is a Cancer, KZ, but this is giving kind of like Cancer energy. I do not want to be played. I do not want to be embarrassed. There's somebody who could be very like petty. Like, this is giving that kind of line of energy. And we also have the Eight of Coins here. Usually to me, that's like, I'm not afraid of putting the work in. I'm not afraid of kind of like going out here and do what I want to. It just kind of feels like if my ego gets hurt, if it's kind of like I will quit this whole thing if I feel like there's not going to be essentially this person I will call it quits. I would take all of this if I feel like there's nothing I'm going to get out of it. Oh, you're a Cancer. That's funny. Sorry for reading you down. But that's just what I'm getting. I'm sorry. So why am I picking up on you so strong? I mean, I know this, you asked the question, but it feels like, is this you? Maybe this is you. Maybe you're going to turn them down because you don't think they're into you. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just saying this feels like Cancer energy to me. And Chris, yes, I absolutely will have time. KZ, just let me know. I'm sorry if anything I said was like, but I really thought this was them. Because, like, this just gives me Cancer energy all day. And I love my Cancers sometimes. But you know, it's kind of resonating because that would make sense why you want to know if he's going to ask you out to prom first before you kind of just say yes or no, because you want to know if it's worth it. And the romantic ideologies. What was your, hold on, did I miss it up in here? I'm sorry, it's a delay. So yeah, I might be missing something here. No, that was perfect. Okay. I was like, am I missing something? Okay, so before I move on, I just want to make sure that answered your question because, yeah. Now I kind of feel bad because I feel like I was reading you down and I didn't mean to do that, but that's what I was getting. Let's see here. I'm gonna just for you, Kate Bay. Let's see what else. I'm asking if you should say yes to Ty. I just want to make sure I'm answering your question because I feel like I was getting a bunch of other stuff. So let's see. We did have 3 cards that fell out, but it's these 2 as well. Let's see. So I'm going to say if you are really interested in going to prom with Ty, I think it's the you question of making sure that you're actually saying yes for the right reasons, not just because you don't want to go to prom like by yourself, or maybe you're doing it to show off to an ex or something. It kind of feels like there's something else lying there. I don't want to get all into it, but yeah, it kind of feels like if you really want to go to prom with this type person, make sure you're doing it because you really want to enjoy your time with them. Okay, I can ask that question of like, what does he think? And that's so cute. You had a vision of that. But I'll come back and ask that question. But I want to make sure I get Chris. I don't want to miss Chris before I close this out. Okay, let's see, Chris. Let's see if I can help you out here. Let's see what's coming up for you. Make sure I shuffle these cards. We want to make sure we get a nice, clear reading here. Okay, I want to note these cards that fell out here. It's a lot. So we have the Son of Staffs. We have the Seven of Coins. We also have the Son of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Shot of Swords. I can kind of see where the disagreement is coming up at. Let's see. Ooh, we don't want the whole book. Thank you. Okay. So this Son of Staffs is one to come out. I don't know if you're dealing with the fire sign here, but here we go. Son of Staffs is the first card. Okay, about to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay, we have the Tower here. We have two cards that fell out. What were they? Okay, I'm just sorry to say this, Chris. Doesn't look the best. We have the Sun, the Tower. We have the Sun and the Two of Cups coming up in reverse. But before that, we have the Tower. So it could be a thing. Maybe you two rekindle here with the Son of Staffs, or maybe he's just a fiery person, or a fiery personality. Maybe you both are when you kind of like get into it. It kind of feels like if I would say it this way. I used to have a friend, and anytime you didn't agree with her, she would automatically feel like, oh, that means that you really don't like me and you're a terrible person. Like, she would kind of build you up to be this whole terrible person in their mind and just like stop talking to you. And that's kind of like the energy I'm getting here with Greg. It's kind of like, even if it was something where no, you were just trying to explain something to them, whatever this disagreement was about, it just feels like it was the final straw of some sense. But it's not to say you two probably won't get back together and then have a big falling out, because this Tower is coming up here, but then the Sun card is coming up in reverse. To me, this is like, no, absolutely not. And then the Two of Cups, that's usually a romantic, it's up there with like the Lover's card, the Four of Staffs is coming up in reverse. So that to me feels like there's going to be a breakaway or some change in this relationship, if they even take action at all. Okay, you're saying he's a Gemini and you're a Taurus? I don't know. Feel something fiery about that situation here. Son of Staffs. Oh, funny enough, look at this. We have the Son of Coins here coming up in reverse for the underlying energy. We also have the Hierophant, and then we have the Fool. So this Son of Coins could be you, or again, it could be dealing with the situation at hand. I don't know if you two had some kind of falling out or disagreement when it came to some materialistic thing. I don't want to just say it's money. It could have been like, I don't know how we want to split up the house. Who's going to take the kids here or there? I don't know if you two have kids, but just giving some instances here. Who's going to watch the parents? Who actually is going to do more of the housework, the house chores or something? It could be, it's something materialistic along those lines. I don't know if that's the argument here, but that's something that it also could be pertaining to outside of just you, if it's dealing with like a situation. And then we also have the Hierophant here. And the Hierophant to me is usually, again, what is those, I think of it as like, what is those cultural upbringings, those norms? Like, what's kind of like, have you two really had a conversation or talk about how you really want your relationship to be? That's him. Okay. Oh, Jesus H. Christ. Okay, well, Maybe they need to get that together first before they try to do anything. That's a good amount of time to know somebody. You would think in that amount of time you would know somebody better and they would know you better. But we're always growing, I guess. So things change. Okay, I'm gonna continue with what I'm getting here. So then we have the Hierophant again. That could be maybe it's the upbringings, the culture kind of like you're in. Think of it as like your civilization building blocks, your moral codes and things like that. It's kind of like building up what who we are and how we move. Like think of like, gender norms, those kind of things, or gender performance as some people like to call it. Like what makes you perform, or what in your society lets you know that you are and you are performing and acting as a woman or as a man, etc. And then we have the Fool. And this is taking a leap, essentially. This is going out there and you having this step move forward. You may not know where you're going after this. Things may look bleak, but you will have to take that next step, or you are going to take that next step, and you're going to step out there on faith, essentially. Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah. See, that's to me is what makes it nerve wracking when it's children starting to be involved. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe there it could be a thing. I don't always want to kind of blame it on the last person. But I don't think I am when I say this. Sometimes we carry things over from the last thing we were in. And we carry it into the new and not actually like dealing with it sometimes. Or we thought we dealt with it, but then something may happen and it'll trigger you just like that. Now you're back in that same like thoughts, that same place you were in. And I'm gonna read something else. Let's see what else you have underlying here. Yeah, this is Shot of Swords. You said he's a Gemini, right? Eight of Coins, Seven of Staffs. The Eight of Coins. So again, the Shot of Swords can deal with your air signs. We already established she's Gemini, but it's also coming up in reverse. That's usually somebody who's like, um, again, abrasive, very brash with their words. They're very like me focused sometimes. I think of somebody who's like very cold, cut off emotionally is also another thing. We also have the Eight of Cups. It's usually like I'm moving on for something else. I'm moving forward. Interesting enough, we do have the Seven of Staffs coming up here in reverse. And to me, the Seven of Staffs is usually like the gossip card. I don't know how that will pertain to your situation, but typically the Seven of Staffs is kind of like the gossip monger card. It's I'm sitting comfortable amongst the thorns. There are things going on in the back, what have you. I'm just not gonna kind of like really pay attention to it right now and do what I want to do. So yeah. Oh. Oh, honey. No, you need to deal with that. Not you, Chris, but like he needs to deal with that. You can't misdirect your frustrations on a person who's there for you and like in your corner. That's crazy. You don't want to hurt the person that's in your corner. That's hurting you. In case I will still get to your question. You'll be the last one. But yeah, I want to make sure I'm getting Chris here. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe this is kind of like a blessing in disguise, maybe, where you are able to kind of like remove yourself from the picture. And it's maybe not so much like Not saying like you don't want to deal with it, which is perfectly fine, but it could be a thing of maybe this is a blessing in disguise in the sense of like this is going to force him more so to deal with like the emotions and whatever remnants is going on from their relationship and actually deal with it properly before moving forward. So, yeah. Not they was trauma bonding. I wish I had a button, drop bombs drop and just boom. Just what? Not your trauma bonding. Who wants to deal with that? Oh God. 8 of Cups. Now, see, if it was a 7 of Cups, I would have been like, yeah. 7 of Cups to me kind of gives like you are imbibing a little too much on your own supply. And you know what? Again, the children. Yeah, somebody in that situation need to go to therapy. Maybe they need family counseling. You know, that's available too. Hopefully he at least comes around, and even if you two don't decide to rekindle the relationship, hopefully like something can carry through. You have the friendship and stuff, and he'll come back around and be like, hey, you know, I know I was wrong, or you know, I contributed to a lot of what we're wrong in this relationship, and I hope you can, after he goes through and heals some things, and kind of apologize, or at least make it up to you in some sort of way. Hopefully. It's not too many people who can be that mature, I would say, in a situation. But yeah. All right. And last, we are finishing up with KZ. Chris, I hope that helps. And again, hopefully it works out for the best, whether it's, you two moving forward together or just being friends. So let's get into this last question for the night with KZ here. I gotta get the guy's name again. I don't know if you guys hear that. They are still blowing up fireworks in my neighborhood. For those of you who don't live in the US, we had 4th of July. What was that, like Friday? It was 4th of July. And people are still blowing up fireworks. Like, I don't know if you all hear it. It's not gunshots. I just want to say that so you all don't be concerned for my safety. It's not that. It's not anybody popping off or anything. It's they're blowing up fireworks. Oh, thank you, KZ. I went back and got it, yeah. Taurus, you will be my absolutely last person. If you can get your question in before I finish up with KZ, you will be my absolute last person. And then I will be off for the night. I will let you all go back to your day. And you're welcome, Chris. Thanks again for joining. For trusting me with asking your questions. Let's shuffle these again for you. fell out here at the end. I need one more card. It was like 5 that fell off to the side. Oh my God. Okay, so that lets me know there's a lot that is wanting to be said here because I'm getting so many cards for you for this last one. I'm going to keep these off to the side to note, but what actually fell out here on the table, we have the Shah of Swords in reverse, we have the Tower, and then we have the Ace of Cups. And looking at this Tower and this Ace of Cups makes me feel like, I don't know, maybe Ty isn't that into you. You know what? I just see you said he blocked you and you don't know why. Maybe we can figure it out. Okay, yeah, because it feels like right now he's not that into you. Let's see here. What's going on with why he blocked you? What is leading up in here? You're welcome, Forrest. Did you give him a hard time? Did he feel like he couldn't win with you? Why do I feel like you rejected him, KZ? Honestly. And you're trying to play like you don't know what's going on here. Something about this made me feel like you rejected him, or maybe he tried to shoot his shot. Maybe you didn't pick up on it. I don't know. But something here makes me feel like an attempt was made and it didn't go that well. Are you telling the whole story here, KZ? We have the Sultan here. This is somebody again who's like, you didn't reject them. I don't know, sweetheart. Something here makes it. I don't know. Did he do a subtle like push up on you or an offer, and it wasn't received, and so now he kind of like licking his wounds and retreating. Does he think you're ugly? I don't know, KZ. To me, it feels like he attempted to shoot his shot, and maybe you didn't pick up on it or reciprocate it, and now he's like exit stage left. Look, I'm licking my wounds here. I'm licking my wounds here. He said he wanted to make money with you. So I don't want you to devolve exactly how y'all were planning on making money, but we do have the 9 of coins here. That does typically in the upright, it speaks to like, I'm wanting to find financial independence, but it's coming up in reverse. So I don't know if it's a thing here of like maybe he realizes he can't do it by himself, or he is really wanting a partnership to do it with, because we do have the 9 of coins in reverse. I don't know. I would say if he's somebody who's like LLC Twitter type of person, and then he stopped talking to you. I don't know if he's the LLC type of person. They're kind of like, well, I reached out to you, and not saying that this is the case, but it could be something along the lines of like, I reached out to you for this business deal. You were supposed to follow up with me. Like, let's meet up for some coffee. Let's discuss this business plan. Like, you were supposed to take the initiative to show me interest. And because that's not what happened, maybe he lost interest. I don't know. Again, and maybe that's where I'm picking up on the attempts of I shot my shot and it didn't work out like that. Cause yeah. Cause what's 13 is I want to say, is that judgment? No, that's death. Sorry. Judgment, that's death. Oh yeah, there's something coming to an end there almost. Transition, letting go of the past, moving onward. Again, kind of like wanting to move onward, something not working out the way I want. Notice you do have the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Coins both coming up here. To me, this is like, I wanted something to happen and it just didn't happen that way. Don't be scared. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, take my advice with a grain of salt, because I'm not business inclined. Um, and Forrest, you have a few more seconds. If you have a question, you better drop it now, or I'm gonna end this out. Finishing up with KZ because I'm wrapping up with them now. Um, and take my advice with a grain of salt, because I'm not like the most business inclined person. But when it comes to these type of people, when it comes to business, I'm very nervous, and I always double think about that, because it's like, don't pressure me and don't rush me when it comes to something with business, especially when I have to put in my money and my time into that, because you never know what I have going on in the background. I could be wrapping up some other business. I could be sitting on the board of another business. I could be freelancing. So my time is just as precious as yours. Don't think I'm supposed to just quickly follow up with you just because you think everything's supposed to run on your time. I don't care who you are. You could be Gary Vaynerchuk for all I care. Be mindful that people have going on. Don't rush me. You might have avoided a bullet with this. Like, honestly, especially if you're this fickle as a business person, you're saying you want to do business with me, but then you're not giving any specifics of like, hey, this is what the business idea is. This is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think about that? How can we break up this labor? Like, I haven't seen any blueprint, no kind of layout. I haven't seen no business plan for this. Like, what are we doing? We're not doing that. I don't want to jump in here first like that. I don't even know what the freak I'm getting into. I haven't seen a contract. I haven't seen a business plan. We haven't even had a meeting. Like, and I don't know if he wanted you to do that, but that's like, could you at least give me a schedule of when you're available so then we could plan to meet up for coffee to discuss business? Like, what is this? Like, I don't want to. If this is already what the communication is like, and we're supposed to be business partners, this is not boding well. Because we should be able to actually talk, and not you throwing a temper tantrum and hissy fit because I didn't respond in a timely manner, or in the time or way that you wanted me to. I don't know. Again, KZ, that's what I'm saying. You can take my advice with a grain of salt, because I'm not saying I'm the most business oriented person either. I'm really a person that go off of vibes. This is your job situation at the end of the day. This is your work situation. So whatever feels good for you, exercise your power of discernment and move forward. I can only give you my experience. I know if I'm going into business with somebody, especially since you're approaching me with it, what are you coming to the table with? What is this grand idea? What is my role supposed to be in this business? Oh Okay, Forrest, let's get to you, and then I will be closing up for the night. I want to thank you all for coming in. For those of you all who asked your questions or who were just sitting in the back just watching, thank you so much. Hopefully you liked. Hopefully my reading for you helped in some sort of way. And if you would be so kind, share it forward. And let me know if you'd like to see me do more of these in the future. Because I would be open to doing that. Don't pay attention to those, Forrest, because I wasn't even focused on your question. I was just trying to shuffle some of the energy off of these cards. So I don't want you to get scared if you see that Tower card. You know, people get tight when they see that card. Okay, what was these three? Let's see if one of these was meant to come out because they fell out together. Hey, this is interesting. So you have the 10 of Staffs coming up in reverse, along with the 10 of Coins. The 10 of Staffs to me is like I'm letting go of a heavy burden or a load, something that I couldn't take anymore. I'm kind of like letting it go, letting it fall to the wayside. But then we have the Lovers here, and the Lovers doesn't always have to mean something romantic. It can sometimes deal with things of like being in alignment. Like think about like what's your true purpose or something that you should be doing, or this is something that you kind of like need to follow or look into. Think about like self-reflection, healing, those kind of things. Turning inward. And then you have the 10 of Coins in reverse, and usually that's like family. I think of like family legacy, lineage, things that you're kind of like leaving behind. So it's coming up in reverse. So I don't know if there's a thing here of like maybe you're pivoting away or turning away from one thing that's kind of consumed your time and your thoughts or your passions, and you're getting you're trying to focus, or you're thinking more so about legacy or like what you're leaving behind. I am going to pick these underlying cards because I need more information. I need to know exactly what these cards are trying to point out here, because I'm not understanding that exactly. You have the 9 of Swords, the 9 of Coins, and then you have the Star. The 9 of Swords is usually the things that's keeping you up at night. Think about nightmares, racing thoughts. It's kind of like the other things. You have the 9 of Coins coming up in reverse. Usually that's dealing with like financial independence. The 9 of Coins also to me is kind of like a feminine empowerment card too as well. Like, I don't know if maybe she's focused on probably trying to do more with her life, but the 9 of Coins is coming up in reverse. So this is somebody who probably is not financially where they want to be, or is not financially independent or something like that. And then the Star gives me like hope energy. So it's funny, we're kind of getting like these coins here, but something that's kind of like keeping you up at night. It feels like there's something that's, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if finances or like material things kind of got in the way of you two being together. And it kind of feels like maybe right now you kind of need to focus on growing as individuals versus like growing together as a couple. Yeah, and it's okay, and it's crazy because you were saying, I know the time isn't now. So yeah, it just kind of feels like to me there's some individual growth that needs to happen or that's taking place right now. Because look, both of you also, I don't know if you both are earth signs, but it feels like you both are working on yourselves at this point. We have the Malika of coins, the Shah of coins, and then the High Priestess as well. So this is kind of like I'm following my intuition. I'm working on me. Think about self-healing. It could also be a spiritual thing here as well. Um, Again, I'm not surprised I'm getting all of these coins cards. Yeah, Four of Coins, the Nine of Staffs, the Son of Cups. It kind of feels like romance is coming at the end of things. You're dreaming and romanticizing about other things. It feels like a lot of work. The Eight of Coins, that's like I need to put the work in, or I haven't put the time and the work in that I wanted. Two of Swords, a tough decision coming up here. And then you also have the Two of Staffs. I don't know if one or both of you will be traveling in the future. It to me right now, it feels like a no bueno. It feels like a no good. It's not going. Oh God. Oh yeah, y'all gonna be setting some stuff up. Y'all trying to your Capricorn rise and punch you in the face right now, ain't it, Forrest? Yeah, to me is it feels like your energies are being spent elsewhere. It's so funny both of you are coming up as earth signs. I'm just pausing for a minute to see if because it's a delay in the chat. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah. I would say no, right now is not the time. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Because to me, it kind of feels like you two are going forward and trying to grow your own empires or make a way for yourselves. Maybe you two will work together as business partners, but I don't know about romantically. That kind of feels like over and done almost to me in this reading. Energies are liable to change, but yeah, I would say for right now, it's kind of like you are like you both. I don't want to just put it on you. It feels like you both are kind of like in agreement. We're gonna go out here and we're gonna find ourselves and grow independently. And if we get back together, we get back together. If we don't, we don't. Did that answer your question for us? Is there something that's like seems like a mix up or anything that I'm giving you here? Or don't quite resonate for you? I want to make sure I answer your question before I just cut out. That makes sense. Okay. Want to make sure I'm answering you all's questions because I don't want somebody to be like, what was that? Oh God, incel. Okay, you're wanting the relationship to kind of get back together, but the timing is off. Hey, look, you're an Aquarius sun. Trust your motherfucking instincts. I think you will know if the time is going to be right or not, or if, you know, those things are gone. Oh, you think you waited too long to open up, or she waited too long to open up? I mean, Aquarius be knowing. Even when you don't think you know, you know. Everybody else be late to the party. So I would trust your instincts. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here. Hopefully I answered you all's questions, gave you a bit of understanding or insights, was able to help out. And if not, you know, sometimes that happens. Can't be right all the time. But yeah, hopefully that helped, that resonated with you all. Again, let me know if you want to see me do more of these in the future. I will definitely try to schedule them in more. It's just a little too late. I don't know if y'all know that song. I don't know if I'm showing my age here, but yes, I love that song. It's not a lot of things to say. You know, it's just a little too late. You are welcome, Forrest. And really, if everything doesn't work out on the girlfriend end, it feels like things may work out. There's going to be, you know, something working out for you work-wise. So hopefully that's cool. No, just drop a like right now. I don't have anything set up for donations or dollars. Again, that is something I'm going to set up in the future, especially if you all want to see this more. The tips will be appreciated. But right now, just dropping a like or, you know, sharing this out or sharing my channel to other people is the thing. So again, in the view. So thank you so much for joining me for tonight. All right. So again, thank you also for joining me, especially since this was kind of like last minute. I kind of posted about it last minute today. Thanks for joining me for the live or chatting with me and stuff, listening to me ramble through your readings as I try to explain them. And yeah, again, likes are always appreciated. I will set up something in the future for donations and dollars and things like that. Thank you all so much for joining me, for trusting me to answer your questions that you have. And I will see you in the next one in the future. Hopefully you all will proceed forward, feeling, you know, more lighter, things off your chest, starting your week off in the right way so we can end it in a strong way as well. Wishing you all a blessed night. Protect your dreams. Because, you know, that was something that came up in here too. Protect your dreams, protect yourself, protect your energy, know thyself, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good night. Bye.